Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of Making It Big. I'm your host, A.B. Ravi. This series, which began some 4 years ago, has managed to capture fascinating stories of entrepreneurs who have made it big in their world of business. But mind you, the road to success was not exactly a cakewalk. There was struggle, there was pain, and for a few, it almost seemed it was end of the road. It was the sheer doggedness, tenacity, belief, and conviction that saw them emerge a winner. The stories of these entrepreneurs, about 30 of them, are indeed inspirational and aspirational. As we enter Season 4, we promise to bring you more such success stories over the next few weeks. Stories that could change your life and perhaps make you the part of Forbes billionaire list. Here I must frankly admit, this journey of bringing good stories has been collaborative. Our partner in this journey for the last 4 years has been Sandeep Uppal, MD and Head of Commercial Banking, HSBC. Sandeep brings a banker's perspective to all stories featured on the show. Sandeep looks for hardcore numbers. In the end, numbers win as they tell you the real story. Stories that separate men from the boys. Well, if I may add, Sandeep has mastered the art of putting the money where the mouth is. Sandeep, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ravi.
Okay, Sandeep, you have traveled all over the world, especially in Europe and Southeast Asia. Do you think an Indian entrepreneur is a different kettle of fish compared to entrepreneurs from other parts of the world, or all entrepreneurs are the same?
I guess at the core, Ravi, if you see, entrepreneurs are the same because they have vision, they have aspirations, they've got drive, focus. But when I look at what are the differences, I think there's a difference I see in Asian entrepreneurs, especially Indian, because there's a lot more emphasis on the need to create a legacy, especially for the family. So I think the family and the legacy becomes quite an important part of the business. The second part, which is also quite interesting, is that a number of Indian entrepreneurs are find very humble in their approach to business, even after they made a lot of money. So if you go to some of the offices, they'll be fairly modest despite them being a billion-dollar business, and their own lifestyle is not exactly page 3, but they're pretty much focused on the business. And the last one, which I think took me by surprise also about the Indian entrepreneur, is how internationally oriented they are. Because I think there is a sense with people when they look at Indian business, that Indian business, it's only the top few, the top 10 business houses who go overseas. But you'd be surprised that Indian entrepreneurs, whether it's a small company, mid-size, or large corporates, is increasingly looking international, whether it be Asia, Europe, US, and Indian entrepreneurs are very comfortable stepping out of the country and establishing businesses.
What are the four things you look when entrepreneurs come to you for funding?
I guess from an entrepreneur's perspective, because that's the entrepreneur is the driver of the business. You're looking at what is the vision for the business. Secondly, what is the management style and how do they manage the business? Because increasingly, as the business gets quite complex, it's not just one individual, but the team along with the individual who execute to the plans. The third, obviously, is from a governance perspective. We just need to be very comfortable that they're in it for the long run and not just for the fast buck.
Okay. But whenever the entrepreneurs approach you, is there any general complaint they have? Or do they talk about the high interest rate in this country? Or they talk about the regulatory issue? Or they talk about the infrastructure? What are the general complaints been from the entrepreneurs in India?
See, I guess from an entrepreneur's perspective, you're obviously juggling with a number of variables, both internal as well as external in the business environment, both within India, overseas. Now, these are challenges. High interest rate is a challenge, but I think they do realize it's part of the economic cycle. And sooner rather than later, the interest rates hopefully will come down, which will make their life easier. The volatility of the rupee is obviously a challenge, but over the last 4 or 5 years, I think they've not, I won't say mastered, but at least they know how to approach the volatility. And we work with a number of our customers just to say, look, there are ways you can mitigate the risk coming out of the currency movement. I guess what I hear quite often from the entrepreneur is infrastructure, because end of the day, it comes down to basic availability of land, electricity, road, ports, because from an entrepreneur's perspective, that's not something they can mitigate or create themselves.
So an Indian entrepreneur is at a disadvantage on this front when you compare to his counterpart in the West?
I would say when you look at countries, I would say, emerging markets compared to developed markets, it comes out quite clearly that infrastructure in some markets is better than others. But from an entrepreneur's perspective, it is a given. You can ask for more, but you got to work with what's available.
Another interesting thing which I heard some time back is that an Indian entrepreneur, when he approaches a bank in the initial stage of his business cycle, he comes in a Maruti or a two-wheeler to take the loans fund for his business. And years later, when he comes to the bank again, he comes in a Mercedes for restructuring or say write-off or CDR. Has the Indian entrepreneur changed? But this was the experience of development financial institution some 10, 15 years back.
I think that's somewhat of a myth, really, because what really happens now is that banking is basically so large and everywhere that if you're a good entrepreneur, you're not driving up to the bank, but in fact the bank is driving up to you.
Okay, okay, good one. So what, according to you, when you look at the entrepreneur, is a typical problem they face today from a banker's point of view?
I guess one change in the environment we can see, and that's both internationally as well as India, is if you went 10 years back, we had economic cycles which were very long. So when the economy was on the up, you probably went through 5, 6, 7, 8 years on the way up. When the economy declined, then we saw a couple of years of decline. Now what this really offered to entrepreneurs is that they had the luxury of time to plan.
Okay.
So you could plan for on the way up, and you could take actions on the way down. But what's happened, especially over the last 4 years, is the economic cycles have become very short and sharp. So that means entrepreneurs have to be very nimble in the way they operate, in the way they manage the business, and most importantly, in the way they manage the cash flows. Because with the sharp short cycles, your cash flows can really change around month on month. So those are few things which I think are quite kind of different from what we saw probably 10 years back.
But very typically, when you're saying the economic cycle, do entrepreneurs fail for not riding the cycle properly, or it is a complacency, or so? What are the typical reason why entrepreneurs fail who does exceedingly well in the first few years of his business, or sometimes when it goes to second generation, there's a problem?
I would say what we've seen, especially in the mid-markets, and I won't say that's typical for India, but it's true for most of the markets where we operate in, mid-market follows Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest. So essentially, any corporate has to constantly evolve themselves, their business model, their strategies, to ensure that they remain successful. The moment you stop evolving and you become stagnant, that's when the business decline and will fall away. So I think that's one aspect, that as a business, you have to constantly evolve. The second part is that you got to read the market. So I think the successful entrepreneurs we see globally is who can read the market, who can read the trends so that they invest at the right time. Some of the businesses I think have faltered. Maybe it's foresight, maybe a bit of luck going against them, is the fact that you put on huge capacity and bang, the economy starts declining and you're stuck with high borrowing, leverage, and huge capacities. So I would say it's foresight, luck, which also plays a part.
Some of the entrepreneurs, which I've been noticing, when there's a boom cycle, everybody actually goes out of the way to fund them. Does that make them a little reckless to take money and leverage?